Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of the BSB. This week, we're doing a little something different. We're doing prop bets for the Super Bowl bye week. Getting out of the range a little bit here. So I am Sean Kaus, your host. With me, as always, we have my brother, Tony James. Tony, how you doing, BS?
I'm doing all right, man. It's Friday night, and there's no place I'd rather be than right here, right now.
I love it. Me too, brother. And we are your betting strategy brothers. Last week,
Are you in mourning? I see black armbands this week.
It was a great season. It was a fantastic season. First playoff win, first AFC champion. I'm still wearing the hat. You know, there's so much to be happy about, and it stings and it hurts, but they got outcoached. Plain and simple, you know, people were texting me and saying, oh, they got outplayed. They didn't get outplayed. They got outcoached. It wasn't like the coach was putting them in the right spot and they weren't playing up or they were taking plays off or anything like that. They just got outcoached. The coach didn't make the right adjustments. They weren't doing it. It was a great season. I mean, people, you lost the defending Super Bowl. Yes, we did. That doesn't really give me solace, and I hate that whole, there's always next year, but there will be, and we're going to be back, and it's going to be good. We're actually talk about that a little later, but they're still my team. I love them. They had a great year. I'm happy with the way the year turned out. Obviously, be happier if they were still playing, but they were one of the Final Four, and I'm good with that. So that was a little rough, but what was even worse was that I went all in on them on betting last week. And I talked you into it, and we went down in flames. But you had me on the Tampa, dude. You had me. I was too afraid. I didn't even touch that game. Whereas you went in on that game, and that saved your butt. Me, the only thing I won, which it pains me to say, but Tom Brady actually made me money. I bet on Tampa Bay scoring over 2.5 touchdowns. So Tom Brady actually made me money for once. That was the only prop bet I got, was that, and nothing else came through for me. So it was a rough week for me, but you did pretty good.
Well, that third touchdown, I think that was the one right at the end of the first half, and such a beautiful pass. And I think we talked last week, and I said, in order for Tampa Bay to win this game, players like Cameron Brate and Scotty Miller are going to have big games, and he stepped right in there. I just had a feeling, man. I just had a feeling that Tampa was going to go up there and win. And they did just that. They got it. And we'll talk about this next week when we talk about the game, but it followed the similar pattern to the other two playoff wins. They got up early, and then their defense made enough plays to hold on at the end. And I hit the under 58. I hit the +9 on the teaser. I got the Tampa Bay one by between 1 and 13 points. So of my 100, I did go kind of all in on the Bills, but
sorry,
it happens, right? I could have told you no. So I wound up winning 61 back. So that's pretty good, man. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and that the big one for you was that Tampa Bay wins by 1 to 13 points. We both said it was going to be a close game. So and I think most people thought it was going to be a close game. So, but that was 20 to win 43. I mean, that was huge for you.
Yeah, and they got up 28-10, but there was so much time left on the clock. Like, I just knew that Rodgers would get one touchdown at least to close that gap a little bit. And I mean, they almost pulled it off. But
how do you go for a field goal? Like what? I don't know if you heard Rodgers saying, "Hey, if I would have known we were going to go for a field goal and not touchdown, not that it was if I would have known it wasn't 4th down territory, I would have played different." How do you not have the discussion with your quarterback beforehand? Like, I don't know. That leads me to believe Rodgers is going to be gone, but that's a whole different scenario and a whole different day.
Well, and then you go back to that statement you made about the Bills, right? That you said the Bills got outcoached by Andy Reid. You could say the same thing about Matt LaFleur. He got outcoached by Bruce Arians. And so, Arians has been in playoff games before, and Matt LaFleur, not so much. So, it goes both sides. So, But, this week is kind of tough because, there's no games this week. We have 2 weeks. We have the hype coming. Luckily, we do have some things in the interim to keep us busy. But, I'm really excited to talk about these prop bets in a minute to see all the different things that are out there.
I agree. And before we get there, we got to do our flavors of the week. So what are you drinking today there, Tony?
I went back to one of my old reliables from Evans Brewing right down the road. I went last week and restocked on my Punk Rock Pilsner. I'm going for a run tomorrow morning, but I really wanted a drink tonight. So it's nice and light. It's, it's not going to split my stomach like an IPA. And, I'm going to have a couple brews with my buddy Pete from the Break It Down show tomorrow. And, I want to make sure that I'm ready to go. So, I went with the old in the Coyotes Howl Yeah koozie, so I'm ready.
Heck yeah! Well, sticking with that Coyotes, hey, I was walking through the store, and those of you guys that don't know, yes, we've only done football, but once football's done, we are sports fans. So we're going to be talking about hockey bets, we're going to talk about basketball bets, we're going to be talking about baseball bets, cross sports, all that stuff. But we wanted to finish up football before we got into all that. But I'm a Sabres fan. I stick with my Buffalo roots. My second favorite hockey team is the Coyotes. Even though I'm not a Cardinals fan, I am a Coyotes fan. And so today I went to the store. I was actually planning on buying some 805. That sounded like a good beer to drink tonight. And as I passed by, I saw the Kachina Throwback Ale.
Yes.
And I go, and I know how much of a fan you are, and I'm a big fan, and I go, oh my God, I got to have that. I got to have it. So it ended up being really good. It's from Grand Canyon Brewery. Now, I've had Grand Canyon breweries going up north on trips and stuff like that. I've had them. So I knew they were a good brewery. I saw it, and I go put 2 and 2 together, and this is great. So it's very good. You guys need to get this if you are in the Valley somewhere.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about, there's many locations that are known for their beers, such as San Diego and Colorado, but Flagstaff is really underrated for their breweries. Lumberyard is really good. And Grand Canyon is outstanding. So I will be gassing up the buggy and coming over to claim a case or 6 from my refrigerator.
I'll make sure to stock up for you, brother.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. So, like we mentioned already, this week is a bye week. So there's no game. There's not even the Pro Bowl, which is usually this week. They're doing some freaking.
They're playing on Madden, right?
Yeah, they're playing on Madden. Screw that. I'm not messing. I mean, I watch Pro Bowl sometimes. It's like background music that you have on that you kind of pay attention to every once in a while because, I mean, it's a freaking joke. But you like to see your players, but now that they're not playing it because of COVID this year, there's really nothing going on this week. And there's so much to bet on for the Super Bowl. There is literally anything to bet on in the Super Bowl. And so we decided this week that we were going to take kind of week off from anything that we can know, anything that we can put data behind. And we do have some data for some of these, but for the most part, these are bets that anybody, anywhere that's never placed a bet before, that doesn't know football, that doesn't know anything, could go and bet on and have as much of a shot as those of us that bet all the time. Okay, these are most of these are a couple that we'll get into that you have to have some knowledge, but for the most part, these are, and they call them prop bets, and they're prop bets. They're just, I mean, what color is the sky tomorrow? That's a prop bet. I mean, obviously it's not there, but that's the type of stuff we're dealing with here. So we wanted to give next week all to the game and talk about the game and the Brady and the Mahomes and we wanted to talk about that next week and get all our prop bets out this week. So as I'm looking here, I think we actually did 11 bets. Usually we give $100. We're actually giving ourselves 110 because we each found 11 bets we really wanted.
Earned it, right? We've earned the bonus. I agree. We've earned the bonus.
So we did $10 a bet on every one of these bets. And so we're just going to run through those and kind of talk about them a little bit, talk about our thoughts on them. But like I said, most of these are they have nothing to do with the game.
Yeah, they're things that anybody, you don't have to be a huge football fan. You can just, take your $10 or $5 or whatever and just try and if you just want to get in, if you're at a party and people are betting, this is a great opportunity to get involved, have a little bit of fun, and, kind of bet on some goofy things that normally during the season that you just wouldn't bet on.
Yeah, well, and a lot of times they don't have these during the season.
Mm-hmm.
It's what happens is, I mean, you guys have watched the show. When we do the show, we have parlays, we have teasers, we have this, we have that, we have this game, we have that game, we have everything that we can do together and all these. But there's one game,
mm-hmm.
And that's that kind of like last week with me losing everything on Buffalo and you taking a hit with Buffalo. That's going to happen a lot more when you have fewer games. You don't have anything to build you back up. Like sure. You can say, when you have more games, you can say, yeah, Buffalo lost, but I won on this game and this game and this game. And I mean, it did happen to you where Buffalo lost you money, but you did win on Tampa Bay. This is kind of those. Well, I bet $2.5 million on the Bucks to win.
Mm-hmm.
But if I lose that, I can still make it up on these prop bets. And prop bets you can actually do live up to the minute that they start. So when you're talking about the anthem, until the anthem starts, you can place that bet and stuff like that. So you can bet on halftime up until halftime. So you don't have to get it in before the game. That's another nice thing about that.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And, once again, it's stuff that you normally don't see during the regular season, but it's going to keep you interested. It's going to keep you focused on the game, and you can have conversations and have some fun with your friends. And, and it's just really, it's just it's super fun, man. It's super fun.
I agree. And some of the stuff I don't even agree with. Okay. And I'm not going to try to get too philosophical here, but my first prop bet, I don't agree with the statement. So my first prop bet is that any player is going to kneel on the sideline for the anthem. I don't agree with it. I understand Blackley. I get all that stuff. And I'm not saying I'm against it or anything, and I'm not getting into views and I'm not getting into politics. However, when you bet, you should be betting when you're betting with your money. And it depends where you're at. I mean, maybe you're betting $1. Okay, if you're betting $1 and that's not going to hurt you, then bet with your heart. And we're only betting 10 here. It's not crazy, so we can still bet with our heart. But if you're betting, it maybe $10 is a lot for you, depending on where you're at in your money situation. If you're betting a part where it's like, I can afford this, but I'm really worried about it, then you need to bet with your head and not with your heart. So that's and I usually almost always bet with my head. And yes, my heart was with Buffalo last week, but so was my head. I had a real good feeling that we were going to win. Obviously, I was wrong, and that happens. But my first one is anybody kneels on the sideline for an anthem. I am absolutely thinking that's going to happen with everything happened this year. I mean, I could see people staying in the locker room, and that could prevent me from winning this. But I really think if they're out there, somebody is going to be kneeling. So I bet, yes, it's $10 to win 20 cents. 20 cents. Okay. But that's how confident I am that this is going to win. Okay. And once again, agree with it, disagree with it. I just think it's going to happen. I had a friend text me, hey, Buffalo stays in the locker room for the anthem. I'm like, yeah, they did that all year. Whether I agree with it or not, they're still my team.
Well, and, it's like you said, it's small winnings, $10 to win 20 cents, but you're looking at a situation where players feel they have a platform. It's going to be the show on TV. I don't think anybody's going to be watching reruns of Dateline or anything at the same time. So people are going to be watching it and paying attention. So why not, if you have a stance or you have a view, now's your opportunity to show it to everybody. So I think that's a solid bet.
And this isn't a prop bet, just kind of on a side note, I really think these ratings for the Super Bowl are going to be the biggest ever because A, people are in quarantine and that's what everybody's going to be talking about, or B, people are either getting the vaccine or they're over COVID, one or the other. And this is going to be their first platform where it's like, hey, this is a party. Let's go. Because it always is a party, but some people are like, whatever, I don't care. Now it's like, man, I've been locked in my house for, I feels like 12 years. Yeah, I'm ready to go. So, so like you said, I think that the players know that, and I think that's going to make it an even platform. So I think it happens. So that's my first prop bet.
Cool. That's a really good one. I went with a political tone kind of on my bet as well. On my first prop bet, I'm taking the over 0.5 on how many times Biden will be said. And that's $10 to win 32. And I just feel like, this is going to be once again, an opportunity for the announcers to just throw it out there. I think the president is going to be they're going to show an interview with the president at halftime. So there's plenty of opportunities right there to mention the word. And I think that's just going to be circumstances like, hey, there's really good chance it's going to happen.
I agree. And this is money bet, and I can't believe how much plus money it is.
Yeah.
And it's only over 0.5. Like, that means they literally have to say his name once. Now, you guys have to understand, we're doing 11 bets, and I don't think any of us are exactly the same. So really, we have 22 bets out there, and we didn't even touch how many there is. I think we looked at it, and I must have counted over 100 different prop bets you could do. Mm-hmm. It's insane the amount of prop bets you can do. So you can pick and choose, and you can really talk. I'm not political. I don't know politics. I don't care about politics. I could care less. I watch news here and there, and I'll talk with people, and I have thoughts and ideas just so I can not sound totally fucking stupid when I talk to somebody about it. But I don't care. I could care less. But will he be mentioned? That has nothing to do with politics. Right now, as it stands, he's the president, and they're going to talk about him, especially because he has an interview on there. So, this is money bet, and I don't see how you lose that.
Yeah, I mean, if they were interviewing Bruce Springsteen at halftime, how many times would they say Bruce or the boss? It's the same thing. So, yeah, I was surprised at the plus money on it, but I'm going to take it, and put it in my pocket for next week.
Why wouldn't you? I couldn't believe they're not going to say it once. Heck yeah, they are.
Yeah, exactly. All right, what do you got next?
I'm going back to the anthem. In the whole raise the fist for the anthem. I think the kneeling or staying in the locker room has been the statement this year. I don't think there's been many, and I'm not saying there wasn't. I don't know, maybe there was a lot. And I don't think there's a lot of people raising their fist, doing the Black Power type thing. Maybe there is, and I missed it. I don't know. I haven't seen it personally, so that makes me think it's not going to happen. Their statement is going to be kneeling or not coming out. So I pick no, that's not going to happen during the anthem. And when you look at these prop bets, you first have to keep in mind that what you think happened doesn't matter. It's up to the sports book if they think it happened. So they have the final decision. But when you read them, you read from the first word of the anthem, and this is in the sports book we're using, from the first word of the anthem till the last time they say brave, which is the last word, but they say it more than once. Mm-hmm. So in that time, will a player raise a fist on the sideline? I don't think so. Maybe they will after, but from the first word to the last word, I don't think they're going to, just because I haven't seen it. Maybe I'm wrong. But $10 to win me 120 on that, I'm going to take that all day long.
For sure. And I'm not a big pregame show watcher. I'm usually, if it's a 125 kickoff, I'm tuning in at 125. Yeah. So I'm with you. I haven't seen a whole lot of it. So I don't really know. I don't have the knowledge, but I mean, at that plus money, why not? Why not?
I agree. So what do you got next?
I went with the betting angle, and my prop is, will the spread or the total be referenced at all during the game? And I said, absolutely it will be. With it's $10 to win 70 in this age of kind of like the acceptance of gambling. I mean, like everybody and their brother seems like they're playing fantasy football, or, you got DraftKings and you got all these, you got mobile betting devices and just how prevalent it is now. I mean, there's a bloody football team in the gambling capital of the world. So do I think it's going to be? Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be referenced one way or another. And if you, who's really good about throwing it in there is Al Michaels on Sunday Night Football. Will often throw it if there's like a backdoor score at the end. He'll often mention the spread. Say, oh, that's 7.5 is and so I have a feeling it's going to be mentioned for sure. And in this case, it's the spread or the total, so I can win either way.
Yeah, and once again, now this is something that maybe, like he said, he knows Al Michaels says it. So yeah, maybe. This bet, a little bit about football, a little bit about watching it, but you still could look at that. And somebody who's never watched it, go, why would they talk about the spread? I'm saying no, and you have just as much of a shot. Like,
yep.
We're taking our thoughts here, but you have just as much stuff. But I think, especially with where the line is sitting right now, absolutely, it's going to be. And I can't believe it's only 3 points, but. You're going to see, especially if Tampa Bay runs away with this, it's going to be, well, they were 3-point underdogs. Somebody's going to say that. So,
and there it is.
Yep. Yeah. So I 100% think it's a 10 to win 7.
10 to win 70.
10
to win 70. Yeah.
70.
That's unbelievable, 70. Right?
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't you do that? So once again, one of those fun, and these are just fun bets, and it keeps you entertained, and it keeps you locked into the game. What 100%. It really does. All right. I'm sticking with the anthem here. I'm staying with the anthem. And I guess I should have done these in a different order. But the first one I did, is any drive of the game going to be less than the anthem song? Okay. Now, my next bet is going to be the length of the anthem song, which the over-under is 2 minutes. So, and that's why I should have done these in a different order. I wasn't thinking that's my fault. But the length of so Vegas is saying that they think the length of the anthem is going to be around 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So, over-under of a length of a drive. Now, yes. This one, you need to have a little bit of a knowledge of the game, but 2 minutes. We talked about this pregame or pre-show. Like, I don't think anybody's going to start. Yes, it's Patrick Mahomes or Travis. A 180-yard touchdown could do that, and Tom Brady in a 2-minute drill could do that. I think so much of this game is going to be length of drive oriented, trying to slow the other team down, that I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to bet 10 to win 22. And if it goes less than the anthem, however long the anthem was, and once again, that's first word to the end of the last word. I'm going to go ahead and say no and take 10 to win 22.
Yeah, it's good. Good. Once again, plus money. If it happens, cool. If it doesn't happen, hey, you gave it a shot, and there it goes.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the anthem as well, and I said that the coach to be shown first during the anthem would be Bruce Arians. It's a little bit of minus money. It's $10 to win 9. And I'm only going with that because the game's being held in Tampa. So, and because they are the first team to play in their home stadium in the Super Bowl. But I think he'll be shown first. And so I went with Arians on this one.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good call. I don't.
It's kind of one of those tough ones, right? I mean, it's super coin flip, right? Who knows?
Yeah.
That they're going to have cameras on both coaches at the same time. It's just a matter of, does CBS go to this one or do they go to this one first, right? So it is a coin flip, but I think it's going to be Arians.
I agree for that reason alone. Of it's Tampa Bay. It's a home. First time it's ever happened. It's home. So I agree with you there. But that's one of those, once again, who knows? Who has any clue? There is, other than that little tidbit of information, which anybody could look up and go, oh, they're home. Like, who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
So I definitely think that's a good call. And, that is minus money. So obviously Vegas thinks that's a good call too. But it's still 10 to win 9. So, I mean, it's almost even money.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. It's almost even money. So why not? Let's go into the length of the anthem, because we actually have a fight on this one.
We disagree on this one. So once again, we could disagree on this all day long, but neither one of us has any data to prove either way. Like, it's totally like, hey, what do you think? 2 minutes is the over under set right now. I went over, you went under.
Mm-hmm.
My over wins me $11 for my 10. Your under wins you 6 for your 10.
That's true.
So your under is actually what Vegas is thinking is going to happen because it's the favorite. The favorite is the under. Here's why I went over. I'm going to tell you this straight now. It's a duet.
Mm-hmm. It's Eric Church and Jasmine Sullivan.
It's a duet. When you have one star on that stage, they extend that. Now you have 2 stars on that stage. They're going to extend that super duper long. So I think it's going to be over. Plus, America's still behind the world in COVID cases. I mean, it's a time for just like, hey, America, like this is our thing, and Goodell wants to be this a big show, and who knows? I could be wrong. I don't even know. Something would be the average length of the national anthem.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Usually, when we go to hockey games or whatever, they usually knock that thing out in about a minute and a half. So that's it. It's a tough one, and I think 2 minutes is going to go by very, very quickly. But I agree with you. I agree with you in a way with a duet. There's a different dynamic to go with it. But I don't know, man. I just think Eric Church and Jazz, I think they're just going to get up there, get it done, and get out of town. It's tough because, when you think about the anthem, I think at the Super Bowl, I think everybody thinks of Whitney Houston and how incredible her rendition of the national anthem
Super Bowl.
Yeah. And man, if it's going to be that good, holy smokes, maybe I do want it to be over 2 minutes, but I think they're just going to get in and get out.
And the average length of the national anthem sung at the Super Bowl is 155. So the odds are in your favor.
Excelente. But like you said, a duet, you never know, right? All things.
Yeah, most of those are all sung by one person or group. This is now 2.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So next off, and that's a fun one. And I actually skipped around here, and I should have done the coin toss next, and we'll talk about the coin toss later. But So now sticking on, and I know this is why I went sticking with singers, I'm going to go to the halftime show, which is The Weeknd. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't know who the hell The Weeknd was. I saw the commercial, and the one where he's driving up with the car, and I'm like, all right, I know this song, and I see the dude, I'm like, that must be who sings it. No idea who it was. So I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, it's The Weeknd. And I started putting pieces together, and I'm like, oh, I know that song. Oh, I've heard this. So I don't want to say I don't like any of his work. I'm not that familiar with it, but there were songs I'm like, oh, I've heard it. I like it or whatever. So once again, a coin toss was the first song sung by him, and I picked Blinding Lights. Now, when I look, and here's why I picked this bet, not knowing The Weeknd, not knowing anything. It's not a halftime show I'm excited about. I mean, there's some songs I'm like, okay, like I said, I know I'm like, I don't care. But when I was looking through all the songs, and it had probably 8 or 10 songs listed there, they were all plus money. So it's not like, I mean, yes, there was some that were plus 120, plus 180, plus they went all the way to like plus 500 or something like that. So, yeah, are there favorites? Yes, but no matter what, I'm betting on one that's going to win me money. It's not like I'm betting one 10 to win 6 or 10 to win 20 cents or whatever. So I said, what the hell? They're all plus money. I'm just going to pick one. I picked the one that was in the commercial, which is Blinding Lights. And by the way, I had to look that up. But I go, why the hell not? It's $10 to win 18. Why not?
Yeah, that's a good play. I'm not, I think Prince set the standard with the halftime shows. I don't think anything's going to be ever as good as his was. I mean, his was downright. We were talking about it on a group text the other day, and that thing brought tears to my eyes. It was so good. I'm not excited about this either. I can name one song by The Weeknd. That's it. I'm not his target demo. But like you said, they're all plus money. You've heard the song on an advert. Just grab it, who knows? It might happen and it might not, right? But it's gonna, you know what it's gonna do for all the advertisers? You're gonna be able to see their adverts one more time, and then they're gonna play that first song, and then you're gonna go to the restroom.
Yep. Yep. Agreed. So what do you got next?
Well, I went to a little bit of the game action and a little cross sport action on this one.
Love this.
So the bet is, what will be higher, Tampa Bay Buccaneers touchdowns in the game, or the number of goals the Tampa Bay Lightning score against the Red Wings on the Friday night before? And I went with the number of goals that Tampa Bay is going to score against Detroit. It's $10 to win 11, so a little bit of plus money. The Red Wings are an absolute disaster. They couldn't stop a beach ball. It is incredible how bad they are. And Tampa Bay is coming off a Stanley Cup championship. They have a little bit of a Stanley Cup hangover right now, and their leading scorer from last year, Kucherov, is out for the season. But this team will definitely throw up 5 against the Red Wings, and I don't see Tampa Bay scoring 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's a lot. The other thing that could work against you right here is the fact that we've talked about off air about how Tampa Bay's defense is better than KC's. And because of that, that could lead to Tampa Bay scoring a lot of touchdowns. And I mean, you look at Tampa Bay, they're scoring 30 plus points in the last, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 games in a row. So I mean, that's dangerous territory right there. But I love the bet of going cross sport, and there's a ton of those, and I see you did another one too. But once again, that's when you need some knowledge on. But I do love the thought of it. I just worry that Tampa Bay is scoring too much right now. Tampa Bay Buccaneers
you know what,
right now.
And you know what's super cool about this bet too is it keeps me interested. It not only it's one bet that I can be interested in 2 games. Right. Yeah. So now I have a rooting interest in 2 games. I have a rooting interest in the Tampa Bay Lightning. And the other cool thing too is, since the Lightning play on Friday night, I'll know what Tampa Bay Buccaneers have to do on Sunday for me to win my bet, which is super nice. So, if Tampa Bay, if the Lightning throw up 5 or 6, then I'm like, oh, okay, well, Brady's going to have a heck of a game, right? So, I'm really excited about this cross sport bet. And I do have another one in my back pocket for later on.
I love it. So my next one is big time minus money, because it's going to happen. Yep. Andy Reid's mask design. What mask is he going to wear? What's it going to look like? It's going to be the KC logo. 10 to win 50 cents. I'm betting $10, and I'm going to come out 50 cents ahead. But I'm okay with it, because if you look, I don't know if you guys remember all the way back to the first game of the year, he had that stupid shield that got all fogged up on him, and it was all crazy. And then it's been KC mask ever since. And for those of you guys that don't know sports, they can say it or not. All players, coaches, everything, they have their superstitions, and they're going to stick with it. Reid's been wearing the KC logo. That's going to stay. But I think they have like a Hawaiian and other like black or something, and I'm like, what? Really? No.
Yeah, you're gonna win that 50 cents for sure, because it's gonna be just the same one that he's been wearing, right? And that face shield was a disaster. Get it out of here.
So your next one's on a coach too.
Yeah, I went and it's on his wardrobe as well. Yeah, I went with Bruce Arians wearing a flat hat, being black. And that's really big plus money. That's $10 to win 500.
Huge.
But I don't know. I think I pretty much took this just because it was so much plus money. And I'm like, you know what? If he comes out in a white hat, then he comes out in a white hat. But, it's just one of those things where I looked at it, it was just so enticing. And that I just said, here, take my money. If it goes away, it goes away. Plus, I have a feeling that I would make it up on one of those other bets anyway. So why not? He's got that Kangol hat that is really popular, and I actually really like it. I think he comes out in black.
Why wouldn't you? You?
Exactly.
All right. Our next bet, once again, we disagree. But, guys, this is the fairest, most down the line bet that you could ever make on anything. And what do you say? Hey, who wants to do this or who wants to do that or what? Even in my house, I do this with my kids all the time. What do? You flip a damn coin.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 50-50 odds. And I remember we're both math teachers. So we've done that probability where, hey, if I flip a coin 50 times, it comes up heads 50 times in a row. What's the probability it comes up tails the next time? And I guarantee we have students that have always said it's going to be tails.
Mm-hmm.
The probability is still 50-50 that it comes up heads. Probability doesn't change from one to the other. So there really is nothing. This is just, hey, I'm picking one and you're picking the other, and our odds are the same, and Vegas knows that, and Vegas gave the same money. So both of us are taking 10 to win 9. I'm picking heads. You're picking tails. I pick heads every year. Every single year I pick heads because why the hell not? And it's 10 to win 9. So, I mean, it's the fairest bet in anything.
Tails never fails. That's what I'm going with. Tails never fails. But you're right, man. It's 100% fair. It's just like, it's either and it's either heads or tails. There's no like third option. This is what it is. So one of us is going to win. One of us is going to be miserable. And but here's another bet, Kaus, that has kept, I think we're up to 4 or 5 of them. The game hasn't even started yet. Mm-hmm. And we already have action on events that are happening. So it's a way, once again, stay interested, stay focused, gives you talking points.
I mean, how do you not bet on the coin toss? I mean, like, why the hell not? It's a 50. You don't have, and once again, somebody who knows nothing about football, who knows nothing about anything, they may not even know the damn Super Bowl is on the TV, has as good a shot of picking the winner as this as we do.
Yeah, exactly. And that's super,
what makes it so fun.
And then you get you get in in one of those, Zoom Super Bowl parties this year, right? Or a text party, and you got heads and I got tails, and one of us gets bragging rights, say, hey, I won this bet. And then, 5 minutes later we have another bet. Then so, it's super fun. But I think it's gonna be tails. You got heads. It'll be fun. It'll be fun for sure.
I agree.
I think the next one. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I think the next one we're going to the adverts, right?
Yeah, we're going to some commercials here. So we're talking about what commercials will be there. First of all, I'm taking a COVID vaccine commercial. Will there be one is the question. I took yes. My 10 is going to win me 14. It's a hot topic right now everywhere. Who can get it? Who can't get it? When are they running out? There's a new strain. There's so much shit about. They're going to push this vaccine, especially with Biden coming out and saying, I want schools open in 100 days, and teachers are on the list right now that can get COVID shots. So, I think they're going to have a COVID commercial on there, especially, too, with healthcare workers allowed at the Super Bowl.
I think you're right. And more so for, it's not a politics thing. It's what's the position of our society right now? And let's be honest, man, we've had conversations about this offline. There's a lot of misinformation out there about this vaccine. So this gives companies who are pushing the vaccine or have created the vaccine a platform to say, hey, do what you're supposed to do and go get your shot, if that's what they choose to say.
And once again, this is we're not sitting here saying, yes, you should get it, or no, you shouldn't, or we don't trust. We're not saying that. All we're saying is all I'm saying is I think there's going to be a commercial about the vaccine. It has nothing to do with my feelings on it. Nothing to do at all. And that's what makes it even better. Yeah,
and I think that's a really good bet. I also went with an advert. I went a little bit off the board here. I said there'll be a Star Wars advert, and I said it's $10 win 20. And I think that's good. Look, we have Disney is pretty much owns the Star Wars catalog right now. So Disney World in Florida is open on a limited basis. Here in California, it's not, but they're trying to open it. So I see some sort of and it was just right before Star Wars had a big attraction that they were supposed to open up in 2020 at Disneyland that didn't get a chance to open. So plus you got the Mandalorian and all the things.
Yeah, I was going to say Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda's all over the damn place. How can they not have him in?
Yeah, I just think I think it's a no-brainer. I think we're gonna see it.
I love that bet. So those are kind of our bets that are kind of not a lot of knowledge. couple in there. But those are our prop bets that we're talking about for the actual Super Bowl. I think you actually might have one more for that. But I'm switching right here, and I'm switching to the NFL draft coming up. And here's one of those that I know it's going to happen, and so does Vegas. So my $10 is only winning me once again 20 cents. But we've talked about it many times on our podcast. Trevor Lawrence is going to be the number one pick. He's going to be a Jaguar unless something crazy happens where Jacksonville trades that away to the Patriots, which is the only team I could see doing that. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a Jaguar next year, and I'm going to bet $10 on it to win 20 cents.
I think this is a slam dunk as well. There's nothing. I haven't seen any mock drafts that have Justin Fields above Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
he's the face of the 2021 draft, unless something happens like, I don't know, he goes back to school, which I don't think he can do anymore. So yeah, he's definitely.
Why would you?
Oh yeah, exactly.
All right, give me your last Super Bowl pick here.
All right, so I'm going that Patrick Mahomes will have more rushing yards than the Suns. DeAndre Ayton will have rebounds and blocks. It's a little bit of minus money. My 10 is going to win me 5. Patrick Mahomes has to have 15 rushing yards, basically, if DeAndre Ayton plays to his average. Now, I know that he's been stepping it up a lot lately. He's been I don't know if you've seen Suns Twitter lately, but they've pretty much been riding him right out of town. And he's not saying he's responding to Twitter, but his game, his numbers have increased. If he plays at his average, Mahomes has to have 15. I think Mahomes is going to be good for 40 rushing yards in this game.
Easy.
And so if it was points and rebounds, I might go the other way. But if it's rebounds and blocks, I'm definitely going with Mahomes.
I like this bet. I think that's solid. He's going to run the damn ball. It's just going to happen. He does. It didn't even seem like he did last week, and he did. Like, I watched the whole damn game, and I'm like, oh, he didn't run that much. I'm like, oh, shit, he did run. Like, he always does, and it's going to happen.
And it's like, and it's like 5 yards here, 4 yards there, 5 yards here. But I don't believe sacks count against rushing yards. I think they count against passing yards.
I think you're right.
So I know in college they count against rushing yards. So, that's another thing that Mahomes has going for him.
Mm-hmm. I agree. All right.
Let's talk about some futures.
Yep, we went to the future. First one I'm talking about.
I love this.
I'm going to tell you right now, the reason I'm taking this is because it's $10 and it could win me $1,500. $1,500. Okay, $10 with $1,500. That's the main reason I did this. Where's Deshaun Watson going next year? He's going to be a Cardinal. Look, Kyler Murray and AZ fan. No. Yeah, dude. How can he in the last 2 years, Kyler Murray got Rookie of the Year and he got Pro Bowl. Okay, great. What has the team done? The team has gotten nowhere with him. And you hear, I listen to sports talk radio here, even though I'm not a Cardinals fan. They say he doesn't listen to people. He doesn't listen to D-Hop. He doesn't listen to Fitzgerald. We want Fitzgerald to stay around anymore. Get Deshaun Watson. He's proven. He's done stuff. And you put him and D-Hop back together. You make that reunion and then give him Larry. And Deshaun Watson, who, you saw pictures of him or the video of him telling JJ Watt, hey, sorry, we didn't give you the season you deserved. We wasted a year of your career, That's a teammate that Larry wants to be with. That's a teammate that would be good for them. You trade them, and I think one of the Twitters on one of the sports talk here, what would you give up for him? Kyler Murray and what? And it was Kyler Murray in the first-round pick, Kyler Murray and I forgot who else. But it was like, yeah, give Kyler Murray in a first-round pick. You have proven talent in Deshaun Watson. Mm-hmm. Kyler Murray, yes, has talent, and I'm not arguing his individual accolades, but as a team, we've talked about this many times before, where he's on the sideline, he's not cheering people on, he's not getting his team's face. Deshaun Watson is that. Put him and D-Hop, and I'm sure D-Hop's telling Larry that he's great. Put them back together. I'm going to take $1,500 for my 10, and that's going to take care of all my bets for the whole year.
Man, I really like how much plus money that is. The only thing that my concern is And I'm sure that you just like you said, you're throwing your money, $10. Hey, if it covers my bets for the year, that's super cool. My concern is how are you going to get them, right? What kind of draft capital, what kind of player capital are you going to have to give up to get them? What's it going to cost you? I'm sure Kyler Murray is just a starting point. How many draft picks is it going to cost you? I mean, Deshaun Watson's no slouch, man. He was the number 4 pick in the draft. So, but from the other side, yes, he's a proven commodity. He's led his team to the playoffs. He's a great teammate, I'm kind of surprised that he's asking to go from the Texans, but I understand it too. I totally understand.
Well, and let me just respond to that as like, yeah, I understand he is what he is, and you're talking about Kyler Murray and draft capital, but you got to understand something too. Houston, first of all, their hands are semi-tied because he's asking for it. Mm-hmm. It's not like Houston is in the driver's seat for it. Teams like Arizona know, and especially Steve Keim. That's Keim's forte, is taking free agents and taking quote unquote has-beens or people that are done and making them. Not that Deshaun Watson is in that, but Steve Keim's best attribute is not draft picks. It's what he does in trading and free agency and stuff like that. So he knows Houston has to get rid of him. Plus, he can just say, "We'll take that damn contract."
That's true. Because
that contract is fucking huge.
Well, and Houston hasn't done themselves any favors with the cap. And we can talk about this next week or whenever, but it's my opinion. Houston just needs to bottom out. They've been ridiculously mediocre. I tease you about it. Every time they're in the playoffs, they're in that stinking first game on Saturday that nobody ever watches. And they put on some crap sack performance, and sometimes they win and sometimes they lose. Houston needs to bottom out. They need to be bad. They need to be bad. They need picks. They need prospects.
So that's why I think it's a good pick for AZ right there.
I also went with a future pick. I actually went in the same division or a similar division as well, depending on where Watson winds up. I said that Indianapolis's starting quarterback for game 1 next year will be Jacoby Brissett, and it's $10 to win 35. Man, you should see some of the names on that list. Holy smokes! Yeah. You got Deshaun Watson on that list. Matthew Stafford.
I think I saw Rodgers on that list.
I think he was on there as well. Yeah, Roethlisberger was on that list. I mean, it's quite a comedy.
Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick was on there too. But I think Indianapolis, look, Brissett was having a decent year. They got Rivers for 1 year just to see what could happen. He leads them to the playoffs. He does nothing as usual. Brissett has played before. He's a known commodity. Is he flashy? Not necessarily, but he can get the job done. He knows the offense. I don't see why they don't go with Brissett and draft a young quarterback or find a young free agent quarterback that they can kind of hold the clipboard for a year or two.
Yeah, I agree. I like this bet. And first of all, it wasn't that Indy didn't do anything. They just ran into Buffalo.
That's my bad. My bad, guy.
No, but in all seriousness, the main thing that you didn't mention here is the head coach. And Frank Reich is very faithful to his quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. And Brissett has been there with him. Since he's been there, he's been under Phillip Rivers. He learned under Phillip Rivers. And he when Rivers went there, you actually saw Brissett came out and say, "I'm eager to learn under Frank Reich. I'm eager to learn under Phillip Rivers. Let's put it together." And he's already had years with Frank Reich. So, I think that's why this is a great bet. And I'm not saying that Indy won't get one of, the Fitzpatricks or the Staffords or something like that. But I think knowing Reich, he makes it a competition, and I think he lets Brissett start. Mm-hmm. And once again, that depends on contracts and stuff like that. But I think I like this bet a lot. I think Brissett wins.
Yeah, I think Brissett's a good. He sounds like a good dude and a good teammate, and like you said, he knows the offense. I think this is a slam dunk.
I agree. I love it. All right, so our last bets.
Should we go to the big future now?
All right, our last bets. We are doing our homer picks of the week. These are straight homer picks. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like mine has a lot better of a chance than yours, and I don't mean that as disrespect to you, brother. I just feel like mine has a lot better of a chance than yours, and maybe I'm wrong, but Vegas feels the same way I do. We're talking about who's winning the Super Bowl next year. I'm taking my Bills. They were 2 games away, well, 1 game away. But technically 2 games if you actually count them winning the Super Bowl. They needed to win the championship and win the Super Bowl. So 2 wins away from winning the Super Bowl. But they were damn close. I'm taking them. They're 10 to win 120. They are 3rd on the list right now to win the Super Bowl next year. So I'm going with my Bills. They've got the people that they're losing. Matt Milano is going to be a free agent. They're not going to let him go. Past him, there's nobody on that free agent list that if they do lose that I'm worried about. Last year I was worried when they lost Jordan Phillips, and you saw that hole in defense with Jordan Phillips being gone this year, but he didn't do shit for the Cardinals. He did not do anything for the Cardinals. So when they first saw him go, I go, oh, that's going to be a hole in our defense. And I saw it all year. But when I saw what Phillips did with Arizona, which was nothing other than be hurt half the year, like I was like, oh, I'm glad they did it. So Brandon Beane got named Executive of the Year for a reason. And I think he's going to keep that trend up. He's going to make some good moves. He's going to put Buffalo in the spot to win the Super Bowl next year.
Hey, man, it's one of those things where Buffalo is definitely trending up, right? They ran into the Chiefs this year. It was a tough call or a tough go for them at the end, but they are definitely trending up. You got to love the way Josh Allen is playing. You got to love the way that offense just clicks, right? And that defense came around. This is a solid bet, man. At 12 to 1, why not, right? Why not?
I agree.
Well, like you said, it's a home. These are definitely homer picks. So I went homer as well. I went with the silver and black to win the Super Bowl. 10. They're at 50 to 1, so $10 to win 500. They're going to be playing the Super Bowl next year at their home stadium in Inglewood because, believe it or not, according to the TV ratings, the Raiders draw more fans on TV than either the Rams or the Chargers here. So it'll be almost like a home game for them. The offense made really great strides this year. I'd love to see them get Aguilar signed again. He was just like picked up off the scrap heap. I'd love for Josh Jacobs to get back together again next year. And with the improvements just in the coaching staff on the defense, I think it's going to make a huge difference for the defense. Plus that secondary is very young. They have a year experience. They got exploited a lot. I think they come back better than ever. I see the Raiders making the playoffs. And once you make the playoffs, man, anything can happen. So, it's a 14-team tournament. Why not? So, but it's also ridiculous plus money, which I really like.
Yeah, that's huge. And look, everybody gave Chucky shit when he got rid of Khalil Mack. What are you doing getting rid of Khalil? What? That proved to be a right move. Like that was a smart move and that was a great move. But everybody gave him doubting Chucky in my mind that's out. I can't do it. Other than he liked Peterman.
He likes Peterman. I have no idea. But
yeah, that part totally baffles me. He threw 5 interceptions and 3 pass attempts. So I don't get it. But here's the other reason I really like this bet, and we talked about this before. Derek Carr is a good quarterback, and I don't care what you say. Derek Carr is a good goddamn quarterback. But if they get rid of Carr or get somebody else, I don't know that Stafford's better, but he's different. Watson could bring a different dimension to – if they get a different quarterback at that position that might bring a different dimension – man, that bet looks even better. And I'm not saying that they should. I like Derek Carr. I think he should say it. I think that he's earned the right to be their quarterback, and I think he's been damn good. But look at who's the goddamn one loss that KC had, and I'm not counting Week 17. Who's the one loss KC had this year?
Oh, yeah, it's the Raiders. They hung 40 on them at Arrowhead.
Yeah, they are a team that can win. I love it, and that was with Derek Carr.
This team really reminded me of that the 1999 and 2000. I think it was the 2000 team. I think it was the first year with Gannon. They went 8-8. They were in every single game. This team was in pretty much every game except for I think a couple, except the Bills game and the Buccaneers game. They were in every game. And it was just that defense just made mistake after mistake after mistake. I think that changes. I think this team's a playoff team next year, whether they have Carr or Mariota or Watson. I think it's a playoff team. And once they get there, you just have to win 4 games. If you're a wild card, you win 4 games, you win the whole thing.
I agree. But I do like this bet, 10 to win 500. How can you not like that?
Why not, right? Who cares?
And it's your team. You always want to root. Every once in a while, this is one of those heart bets.
Yeah,
right? Why not?
This is 100% a heart bet.
So, all right. Well, it's been a blast. I love talking these crazy bets. I am going to be betting all those next week. Guys, tune in. We're going to talk about the game itself, and we're going to have not only game bets, prop bets on the game, and more so on the players and what they're going to do and stuff like that. A little more knowledge to back it up, a little more data to back it up, which could be right or wrong still, but these are just our fun ones. I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as we did. I hope you like our little crazy bet. And remember, guys, you can hit us up on Twitter, you can hit us on Facebook, email, YouTube, whatever. Make sure you like and subscribe, all that stuff, but hit us up and ask, what other prop bets are there? What are you feeling on this? Because there's hundreds of them. Okay?
Absolutely. And just remember also, we don't guarantee any win that we predict. This is all for entertainment purposes. We want to have fun. We want to make money. But we really just want to have fun and share what we find out with you. And we hope that we can all band together like the Reddit stock market gurus and let's take Vegas for what we can, right?
Robin Hood.
That's right.
All right, guys, we love you. Thank you very much. Have a great week, and we will see you next week right here.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.